Hi everyone, this is Aarti De Rosario, naturopath at Guts of the Matter. It has been months since I have eaten well. The end of April 2020 was the last time that I ate appropriately for my body type and my body condition. Um, since then, we've had lockdowns and restrictions and lifting of lockdowns and imposing of restrictions again, and it was hard to know whether we were up or down. I have multiple times tried to get back to being healthy. Mostly I have tried to be aware of my need to lose control in certain parts of my life, seeing as so much of my life was being controlled or out of my control. So I've tried to be gentle around the fact that I've not been able to eat well. I've not been able to stick to any particular diet or way of eating that served me. There was a growing level of frustration as I noticed my face was getting fuller, my body was feeling heavier, my gut was in constant distress, which was actually not something I had paid attention to until I started almost journaling on a daily basis and updating my journal about how I was feeling. And that's what made me realize, wait a second, every single day I'm complaining about my gut being out of whack. It had to get pretty bad for me to make a decision to change. I had to be in a tremendous amount of discomfort and unhappiness. But the thing that made the biggest shift or change actually was therapy, mind therapy, releasing some of that burden that was so strongly pressed into my consciousness, that need to be perfect, this was what I've released most recently, after which I noticed a change in my behavior, and it related to, until I could do something perfectly, I wasn't even willing to try doing it, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. But I wasn't thinking about it. It was just an automatic pattern of behavior that I followed. However, once it was pointed out to me during a therapy session, I feel like my consciousness was then able to release that pattern of behavior, and I was able to achieve such a huge shift, and sort of power myself forward. So I am currently back to attempting intermittent fasting, and I'm feeling so good and empowered in the space that I'm sitting in. Whereas prior to this, all the other times when I tried to push myself into fasting or keto or any other type of diet that I knew suited my body, it didn't work because I was using pure brute force to push myself into a space that emotionally and energetically I was just completely not ready to be in. However, being in the space now feels so completely different. I'm beyond ready to enter this space. I'm loving this space. I'm not feeling deprived. I'm not feeling hungry. I'm not feeling angry or resentful. I'm not approaching being in this space from a place of frustration at how I look or how I feel. I'm in this space because the idea of not being in this space is distressing me. The thoughts of how I feel when I eat bread or pasta, and the sickness that it brings in me, and the dysbiosis I feel in my gut is just so distressing that I'm choosing not to go there again right now. However, it has taken me months and months and months of abusing my body and being angry about all the good work that I was undoing by returning to very unhelpful patterns of eating, for me to get to this place together with some therapy to help me release some less than useful thinking styles that I have inside of my mind. So I just wanted to share with you that sometimes pushing ourselves to do something that we are not ready for is counterproductive. It is very hard to accept sometimes that we need to be able to eat that bowl of ice cream at midnight. We need to be able to have that chocolate brownie at 10 p.m. when the kids are in bed and there's no one else around and we finally have some peace. There's no point in beating ourselves up for feeding our soul, because that's an important part of who we are, to feel loved and connected and show ourselves some self-love, which sometimes can only be done through food, or through just laying in bed for days. I had 7 days of just zero productivity, just laying in bed, not knowing why I was there, feeling very frustrated at my lack of activity, getting sore from being in bed doing nothing, not wanting to, and cancelling any engagements that I might have had, or just not wanting to exert myself in any way. And I was very confused about why I was doing this. But being in the space now, I kind of think or feel like maybe I just needed that time to gather my resources to do this work that I needed to do inside of myself, to shift my thinking pattern. Still a work in progress, but always moving forward, which is the amazing thing.